He met her on a cold winter afternoon when the world outside seemed to sleep. The library was nearly empty. The soft smell of old paper contained a kind of peace. He was there, buried in textbooks and homework, trying to make sense of a life that had offered more pain than purpose. She sat a few chairs away, sketching quietly in her notebook, completely absorbed by lines she created, delicate fingers drawing what her heart could not say. Her hair was tied loosely, strands framing her thoughtful face. Her eyes, calm but intense, held the weight of someone who had seen enough and still chose to hope. Hitesh had no interest in love. Not anymore. After his father died when he was 12, the house fell silent. The debts came in waves. His mother cried in corners while he moved forward in numbness. His teenage years were endless cycles of part-time jobs, tuition classes, hospital visits, and rejection letters. When others threw cricket balls on their street, he fixed bicycles in the garage. When they spoke of love, he dreamed of peace. He believed emotions were luxuries he couldn't afford. But life has a way of throwing blessings when you least expect them, and when you've let go of expecting them. Her name was Mira. She studied fine arts, but her art, too, was silent. She lost her sister somehow, 2 years ago, and words left her. She drew to fill the void her grief carved. Every afternoon, she came to the same corner table in the library and sketched. When he accidentally dropped his book near her foot, and she bent to pick it up, their hands brushed. The moment stretched. He muttered a soft thanks. She smiled and asked, "You've been here every day this week. Are the books that good or is life that bad?" They laughed. That was their beginning. It started with silence. Two wounded souls occupying the same space. He brought her chai sometimes, unspoken. She placed an extra pencil on his table. No demands, just presence, a rare comfort. One rainy evening, the power failed in the library. Lightning danced overhead. Thunder shook glass in empty corridors. Hitesh noticed her hands trembling inside her drawstring bag. He switched on his phone's torch and made his way to her table. She was crying, but not angry, just painful silence. "Today's her birthday," she whispered. Her sister's birthday. She didn't say more. He didn't offer solutions. He just sat beside her until the lights returned. Their silence turned into conversation. At first hesitant, then gentle, she shared how she would wake up at night to draw her sister's portrait because sleep felt like forgetting. He spoke of his nights at the garage, where wrenches clanged and hope felt more distant than oil-stained shirts. They told dreams like people exchanging currency. "I want to give my mother a home she doesn't have to fear," he said. She looked at him and said, "That's not a dream. That's a mission." Their bond grew not fast, but sure. They didn't say, "I love you." It didn't need saying. It was there in shared pauses, in mutual understanding, in the way she saved the last bite of her favorite samosa for him, in the way he remembered her bus timings and waited at the platform, umbrella in hand. They didn't need labels. They just became trust for one another. One morning, he found a note inside her sketchbook. It said, "You may not believe in yourself, but I do. You're not just surviving, Hitesh. You're building something beautiful from broken pieces." He kept it folded inside his wallet like a secret map, guiding him when shadows came. But love is tested when life fractures again. His mother fell ill, seriously. A tumor discovered on her liver. Surgery was needed. Money was needed. Education and rent payments loomed. Hitesh disappeared from classes. He started day and night shifts at the garage and at a roadside eatery. He didn't tell Mira. He didn't want her to carry guilt or pity. One night, drenched in rain, Mira found him working under a dim street light behind the garage. Her anger was soft but scorching. "Why didn't you tell me?" she asked. He looked away. "What would you do?" She pulled an envelope from her bag, opened it. Inside, it held the money he needed for surgery, her entire savings from selling artwork she'd accumulated over months. "I didn't want to ask," she whispered. "I want to do this for you." He broke. Pride, fear, love, they all cracked, and he collapsed in her arms under monsoon. His mother survived. Recovery was slow. Hitesh paid Mira back 50 times over, not just in money, but in life, working harder, dreaming bigger. He enrolled for evening classes in business management. He learned digital marketing. He launched a venture online, broke into bold, crafting sculptures from mechanical scrap. Orders trickled. Then they grew. A small team formed. Within a year, his kitchen turned into a studio. Mira's drawings became part of his art, portraits welded into metal frames. He invited her to see their first studio. On the largest wall, Mira's pencil sketch reimagined in welded wire, her sister's face reborn as beauty through loss. She stood speechless. He finally said, "You pieced me together when I couldn't see my own edges. This is our story now." She took his hand, silence richer than words. He proposed 6 months later, giving her a house key instead of jewelry. "This is ours," he said. They moved in, built a life through mutual ambition and quiet love. He shared his failures on stage when invited to speak at colleges. The scraped knees, broken dreams, nights he cried into pillows. But he spoke louder about what he did with it, from selling samosas to building sculptures to opening a studio. At one talk, a student asked, "Sir, what keeps you going?" He answered, "One person who didn't abandon my silence. She saw my scars, stayed, and gave me a pen when my hands refused to hold one. That's why I keep walking." Their story spread. Interviews called him the sculptor of hope. Accounts painted him as a couple built not on fantasies, but on faith. But Hitesh's success was not an acclaim. It was in waking next to Mira, listening to her brush on canvas again, watching her dreams heal through color. One winter evening, he stood before a crowd of students in a college corridor. They watched as he pulled a small metal heart from his pocket. "This," he said, "is made from scraps from our factory waste. I give it to you, not as achievement, but as an invitation. Whatever you've broken, your past, your heart, your dreams, you can still forge it anew." Applause followed, but when he returned backstage, he saw Mira waiting, eyes bright. He hugged her close, whispered, "We did it." He didn't stop there. They started a foundation for youth from broken homes, teaching them art, entrepreneurship, emotional literacy. They taught workshops under street lamps in villages, offered stoves to angry mothers trying to cook their failures into meals. They called it brushes and bolts, because heart and fight can live together. Years passed. Their studio became a small campus. They married under a vine-covered arbor made from scrap metal and hand-drawn lanterns. Guests came from faraway places. Some had been helped. Some had helped. Hitesh's mother gave a speech. Our son was taught courage by absence. He learned to love in scarcity. He built not just with scrap, but with soul. The visitor who once thought life was bad became a man who painted hope into steel. He built not just a business, but a legacy one built from the truth that love can create purpose, pain can carve character, and silence can become a voice when someone cares enough to sit in it.